Join us for a driving review of the new Golf GTI Club Sport. Let's go! In the front we can see here the GTI Club Sport with the red stripe right here leading over, and also the daytime running light, really cool that it goes all the way across the vehicle. LED is standard for the GTI Club Sport. Also the so-called LED Plus headlamps, they also have a turning light. And the length is at 4 meters 30, 14 foot 1 or 169 inches. Not so many differences here in the Golf 8 generation. And the GTI and the GTI Club Sport, they both come with 50 millimeters lower suspension, either with a fixed suspension, sport suspension, or with the DCC in a sporty setup, the adaptive suspension. Difference GTI and GTI Club Sport is that the Club Sport has an even stiffer setup. Comes standard with 18-inch wheels, optional these here, the 19-inch wheels, different stylings. This here, the turbine style, really cool. Red brake calipers, red GTI logo, bigger contrast here for the side bumpers, really cool. Actually a clean, sporty look as we know from the GTI. What do you think? Well, you already heard this one here. Has a more growling sound, definitely. Two real pipes on each side. And then we have the new modern Golf 8 tail lamps here with a very cool signature. Other than that, classic GTI styling with the badge right there. Of course, the Club Sport then with this big rear wing. Under the hood we have the known 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo petrol engine. Here then with 300 horsepower via the front axle. Differential lock we have at the front as well. And 5.6 seconds is the acceleration figure here, unlike 6.2 seconds with the normal GTI, so more than half a second quicker. Instead of the doors we have soft touch materials, then also reasonable door pockets, then the GTI interior, here with the red contrast stitches steering wheel. Sadly here the capacitive buttons, I mean they look cool, they're also illuminated, but they are not that easy to control. Left side here for the cruise control, right side for the digital instruments, but controlling them while driving is not that easy. All digitalized in the cockpit setup. At the moment it's all blacked out, soon I will turn it on. And then the GTI Club Sport comes with its special seats, integrated head restraint. They have the same base form as in the normal GTI. And look at that here, the GTI Club Sport comes with a special honeycomb structure in this microfiber. Visually very attractive, and it's actually also more comfortable to sit and to lean on these. It adds structure and also has a comfort function. And getting inside, not to forget the famous shoe tab. Classic golf seating position. However, here the sport seats, they're really comfortable. All the seats in the new Golf 8 generation, they are more comfortable than before. And here these sport seats, they keep you tight a little bit more. Microfiber surface also prevents you from sliding left and right and so on. Interior overview in this new Golf 8 generation. Horizontal stress, then we also have the honeycomb style here in the GTI Clubsport, but the material itself doesn't feel that premium, I think. Ambient lighting nicely integrated between that. Soft touch here on the top of the dashboard. Left side 10.25-inch digital instruments, standard for all Golf versions in the new Golf 8 generation. Right side, here the GTI models start directly with the bigger 10-inch screen also on the right. And now let's take a look at the digital instruments. This is the normal view or eco view and blue style, very interesting. They're clear to read, by the way. And here already the red mode when you switch to the comfort mode. So not only in the racing mode, of course in this sports mode, still all red. And they're also quite flexible because you can change it, for example, to a map view all over the place. And not to forget the coolest gauges here, the GTI gauges. Yay! This is definitely the fanciest setup in the digital instruments. And the head-up display, an option to see the speed right in line of sight, of course, pretty helpful. Now the software. So, big problem usually, you see here, it could be more responsive, definitely, but today is actually a good map day. I have to say, we had more problems before. Using the Apple CarPlay, probably you will end up doing that anyway. And we also have the Harman Kardon system here, the sound system, and that is delivering us a very crystal clear sound. Awesome. The Golf being on the short wheelbase for this platform means do not have too much legroom. However, it does work with 4 tall Ls, even here with the sport seats, directly fits here with my knees. And it's actually a quite good seating position overall, also headroom, no problem. Hardpack materials at the inside of the doors for the rear. That's a little bit of a, disappointment at this price point. Remember that the GTI Clubsport easily comes at 41,000 euros. Manual hatch and trunk is very well usable, square dimensions. So you can see that also a cabin trolley fits in a vertical way, no problem. I already folded 2/3 of the seats, 1/3, 2/3 split. The normal length here is 77 centimeters and the total length to the front seat is about 1.50 meters. Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge with the Golf GTI Clubsport in the new Golf 8 generation. And we go to our driving mode selector, sports mode, and there, let's go to the 뉘르부르크ring special mode because the motorway is actually cleaned here as well. And the special thing is here, the front differential lock here also works with the driving dynamics manager. So everything's optimized for all around. That is a difference to the GTI where it's basically like more or less independent. And now let's accelerate out. 5.6 seconds from 0 is the figure, but now from 30, let's go. That's 200 kilometers an hour, 125 miles an hour. Wow, very impressive. This is a front-wheel driven car only and great acceleration performance. Again, 5.6 seconds is the official figure, unlike 6.2 with the normal GTI. So more than half a second quicker in the acceleration figure, here the GTI Clubsport to the GTI. And now also at high speeds, super stable here on the motorway, high-speed German motorway. And noise insulation is not too bad, even though we are driving really, really fast. And how calm and collected this car remains, although it's a short wheelbase vehicle, I have to say. Very nice here, also tuning of the brakes. You exactly know what you're doing. That's the best thing here about the GTI Clubsport. And here about, normal motorway speeds, 80 kilometers or 100 kilometers an hour, something like that. Good noise insulation, once again, that's what you can count on when you buy a Golf in general. So the GTI Clubsport here has a stiffer suspension layout than the normal GTI. It's of course good for faster driving. Later on we'll also talk about that if that's okay comfort-wise. I can already say right now, as long as the road is rather, even, that's definitely okay comfort-wise. Here in the sports mode also we have red gauges. You can even better see them now when we enter the tunnel right here. Really nice. The shifting pedals, by the way, react quite quickly. Here only the dual clutch transmission is available, DSG. The normal GTI can also be bought with the manual if you go from like a pure naked GTI version. here then with the Clubsport, you could on the one hand argue this is the racing version of it. However, if we then think about when this is optimized for the best performance and for the best lap times, then at least 90% of the drivers, the DSG would also help to get a better lap time, definitely. And in the Nürburgring mode, the whole driving dynamics manager sets everything on a stiffer, sportier tone. So the DCC, dynamic chassis control, which is an option here, adaptive suspension, is set on a stiffer note. Steering also reacts a little bit stiffer and so on. And the cool thing here, the Clubsport, really a very precise hot hatch. That's what it's making so special. And it's also scoring the best golf lap times on the Nürburgring. Well, now, meanwhile, yeah, when you're in the Nordschleife mode, then the differential lock is also taking back. And we have some, of course, you see it's slippery conditions here outside, and then you also feel that that's actually quite cool, See that the electronic differential lock doesn't limit you completely. It also lets you spin just a little bit. And that's just a cool driving feeling, definitely. Of course, again, I've been testing the Golf for years in different versions, and also on snow and ice, and a couple of times in Sweden on the lake. So I advise you, if you don't have much experience with the vehicle, then always rather keep it in the normal modes, especially in these conditions. So I have to say that, I was urged to say that because it's disclaimer-wise. Of course, always safety first here at Autogefühl. That's very important to us. So we can also go to the normal sport mode, by the way. Then we have a little bit more safety net. But we already have good exhaust note. Yeah, really cool. And 300 horsepower on the front wheels. You just notice that. Yeah, at some point you might think, okay, I need, was DSG fired again. At some point you need maybe an all-wheel drive. That's where what the Golf R is for. Yeah, I think 300 horsepower on the front axle is actually too much. At the same time, when you have dry conditions, it still works. And also with the differential lock and so on, they include it in the driving manager, then it can actually still work. So we'll go for the Clubsport instead of the normal GTI. It's not that it would be a completely different vehicle. Yes, it is sportier if you want this notch sportier, if you want something special. I would have wished that they also have a microfiber steering wheel like in the previous generation Clubsport, for example. That was really, really cool. Not there yet. Soon when we go outside the tunnel, we can have another acceleration when we are already at speed. And we stay in the sport mode now for a difference, see if we can notice a difference. So we go from 90 kilometers an hour to whatever. And that's 150. But you already realized the Nürburgring mode, I'll keep it here on the right lane, is safer. A little bit more snow in the left one. So this Nürburgring mode put the car in a lower gear already. So the even difference now, sport and Nürburgring mode. But what you can also do is, of course, shift down yourself. So I'll do that, just let that guy overtake. So, and then, for example, near 100 kilometers an hour, let me show you the difference once more. Special mode now, Nürburgring. See, let's go to 90 when we start early. And now, if the shifting characteristic is different, there you felt it, right? Really heard it. So, huge difference sport mode to the sport Nürburgring mode. Have to bear that in mind. And then when we go to the sport mode, another possibility would be shifting pedal like this. So shift down yourself before that, and that's of course, in a way even more fun, and you can stay flexible. Now let's go to 130 kilometers an hour, typical motorway speed, like 80 miles an hour, and here once again good noise insulation. But even at these speeds, when you shift down, there's still acceleration happening, and that's of course pretty cool. And now to our conclusion for today with the new GTI ClubSport. Exterior-wise, of course, typical GTI style here with the red contrast, really cool. It doesn't differ that much from the normal GTI. Get the 19-inch wheels and have a more massive look. 18-inch wheels, of course, give you a little bit more comfort. But with the DCC, with the adaptive suspension, you already have quite good comfort, definitely, so you can still use it as an everyday driver and already have some sporty driving fun. That's what the GTI is about. The ClubSport then with a stiffer setup, and also that everything is basically integrated in this driving dynamics manager with a 뉘르부르크링 racing mode as well. So a really stiffer, more aggressive vehicle. A lot of fun to drive and very neutrally balanced in the handling. That's the cool thing. It's a very predictable car, both on the racetrack and also just driving at home. So what do you think about the GTI ClubSport? Leave me your comments, and also tune in to our Golf R review from the Golf 8 and also to the normal GTI. See you there. Or maybe also with the Cupra Leon. A lot of different interesting videos will be linked in the video description. See you there.